Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage here on YouTube. This is a really exciting episode. It is the start of my Harley Davidson 48 build. It's completely stock at the moment and I'm going to be doing a full customization of this bike and rebuilding it exactly how I want over the next few months. So stick around on this channel if you want to see more. For those that are new to the channel will know I've never done a bike build before. It's normally Land Rovers, and particularly my Land Rover Defender, my Series 1. That's what I've worked on previously. So this is something new to me and I'm really excited about getting stuck in and seeing what it's all about. In this episode, we're going to be starting with the rear end of the bike. So I'm going to be taking off the rear end, changing the indicators, thinking about those rear struts. Am I going to chop them or not? Some of you guys here on YouTube with the previous video I did said, don't chop the struts, leave it, just put a short fender in. So let's see what's going on and see what looks best. So this is a pretty much stock Harley Davidson 48. It's got Vance Hines slip-ons, it's got a number plate tidy on it, it's got the rear bag, but it hasn't got much else on it. It's pretty standard apart from that. And I'm looking forward to doing the whole bike this year, kind of transforming it really into something that I really like. So we're gonna be starting with the rear end today, taking off the pillion seat, taking off all this. These really ugly rear indicators are gonna come off, and I'm wondering about whether to shorten this rear end and expose some more of that rear tire. So let's begin with the back of the bike and start taking it apart. So we've started to make some progress now. We've taken the seat off here and we've taken those two bobbin pins, I think they are here, which is used to have a sissy bar that used to clip onto it. I've taken off and now this whole frame is loose, and I believe this should pretty much come off maybe. This number plate tidy was fitted by Harley Davidson when I bought the bike. Oh, it's a whole plate I can see now. So that's good. So that will hopefully just drop out. So I realised what I need to do is take the wire out. You can see the wire here into the rear indicator and also the number plate light. And if you look at the wiring here, what you'll see is you've got this one for the right indicator, put an I and an R on it, and then this one for the left, so I and then a left, and then this one down here is the number plate light. So just disconnected the left side and the number plate light. I'm going to push those wires through and hopefully this will all come off much easier. Take a look at what I'm fitting and what I need to do. So this is a micro turn signal. It has a daytime running, indicator and brake all in one. It's road legal in the UK, it's E-marked, and this is what we're going to be fitting onto the bike. And you can see we'll be taking that off, putting this on. I'm going to see where this is going to go. I'm not sure about cutting the rear strut down yet and whether that might get mounted right over here onto the top of the suspension, but this is what we're looking at. And when you look at the wiring for this, Limitless Customs in the UK have very kindly given us a wire diagram, so you can see where those four wires need to go to. They need to be crimped onto the four coloured wires that you see here. So actually I'm going to leave this plugged in, and what I'm going to do, I'm not sure if it's right or wrong yet, we'll soon see, is actually cut that wire off so you can take the indicator out. And in this wire here, there should be the four colours that you match these to, and we should be all good to go. Moment of truth, here's the wire cutters. Let's cut this wire off. So that is now cut, point of no return. So this should now pretty much come off. Yes, so that's great. So that is the old indicator and sort of cover for the rear frame. So you can see the rear frame through here. Let's give that a quick wipe. And that is where the indicator came through, the indicator wire. So I can now use that wiring point to put my new 3-in-1 indicators from Limitless on. And this is where the wire is for the number plate bracket. And this number plate bracket is actually really smart. It's very good, it's lit, it's a Harley Davidson number plate bracket. So I'm thinking I might actually remount this if I do end up taking the rear strut off somewhere else. I could probably get a new plate or make a new plate to be able to mount it onto, let's say, the lower point here or somewhere like that. So going to keep that, just got to try and work this wire through, which has been tucked in under the fender, so we're going to take that off. But yeah, that's looking quite good now. That side of the bike is all cleared out. I'm excited to see what these will look like from Limitless. I've had these for quite a long time, to be honest, but they do feel really well made. It's like a metal body to the light. They're smoked and I think they look pretty cool. I think they'll be quite nice, particularly when you compare it to the state of that. So looking forward to seeing what these look like when they're on. Right, let's do the second side. this side is proving a little bit difficult, and that's because there's that little nut just there, which is holding the indicator stalk in. Really hard to get out that. So I'm actually thinking, because it's quite wobbly, do you think I could just take the fender off? Obviously that would expose it a lot easier, or at least get me closer to being able to pivot it around on there. So let's try that. There's that one bolt just there that I've taken off now, and now, as you can see, the whole fender moves and pivots, which has given me enough room to be able to get under there. I've also pulled out this wire now, so I know this is my left indicator wire, and you can see where that's connected just there. It's all looking a lot cleaner now. I can actually see through here, so you can really see what's going on. The bike is completely falling apart now. This has come off. I've got the plug for that as well. So this side now, wiring wise and everything, is all disconnected, so the actual chassis strut is now off the fender. Doing a little bit different for you on this side, so trying to undo that nut. This has happened, so it's actually come off here with a thread. So I'm actually going to snip that just there. So we are getting somewhere, finally. That has now come off, and I'm hoping this rear fender will simply lift off. So that is our rear fender now, off the bike. Place it down there. And this is what we're dealing with now. So, to be fair, it looks so much better already, having no rear fender on, just seeing more of the kind of chassis, I guess, and the rear wheel. So, great. So that is that. This needs to come off as well, doesn't it? On here. That exhaust needs to get covered up, doesn't it? Because I keep smashing things into it. Put something over that. Right, so, this is where we are now. Bike has had the rear fender, rear indicators removed. It's time to start thinking about how we're going to put these rear indicators back on. A very useful part that I've got from Limitless Customs that came with the kit, I bought this about, I don't know, 2 years ago now, are these little brackets. And these little brackets mean that you can mount the rear indicators on any point. So I've put them on here. If you look what happens, that goes to the end there. And then what you can do is kind of use this little bracket to mount it wherever you want. There's a couple of places that seem quite obvious to me. You can obviously put it onto the rear strut, so you could go right onto here and put the plate onto, let's say, onto there and have the rear indicator off the back, or on this hole. The other option is on the top of the suspension strut as well, so there could be quite good, or lower down on the bottom, but I think my number plates could be somewhere down here. I am thinking of chopping this off and getting rid of it, but I've got to build my confidence up to that, because angle grinding that off there is going to be a bit scary, because once you do that, the chassis has been cut and we're kind of in a bad place. So I want to make sure that that is the right thing to do. Got to think about that a bit more. But for now, I think the top of this suspension leg here could be quite good for the indicators to go on. So basically, in order to take these bolts out here, and even the bottom one, you've got to raise the bike up so the rear wheel has no tension on the springs, just so it means that this isn't tight, otherwise this will ping out and then we won't be able to get it lined up again. So I've got to put a car jack underneath my bike this evening. Just as well, I have my massive 2.5 ton jack, so going to be lifting the bike up now, making sure we can work with that suspension. So we've just jacked it up just to the point where you can spin the rear wheel, so it's literally just off the floor, and that's enough just to take the tension out of those rear springs, so they're not going to pop when we take these retaining bolts out. So this is the wiring setup you need. So it's red to red, yellow to white, blue to green, and black to black, and that is the indicator for this side. We're going to wire up and see if it works. Indicators are now wired up. I've just placed them both here. Let's just test them. So I turn the bike on. Oh, fuel pump's a bit noisy. This is the daytime running light, I guess. It's on all the time, so that's quite nice. Very, very bright actually for such a small LED. Then you've got indicator. So that's, as you can see, really, really bright actually. And let's just check the other one. Yeah, and then finally the brake. Perfect. So they look really good. Very, very bright for how small they are. I'm quite impressed with how bright that small unit is. So now it's time to mount them onto the bike. Unscrewed that, it's now finger loose. And because I've jacked it up in the air, I'm hoping now, perfect. So there's not too much tension in that, you see, so that'll mean I can just realign it straight away without messing around with it too much. Just get flashing. This is the left side. So the question is now, in regards to mounting, I'll sort the wiring out in a bit. Do I go in front? I don't think I'm probably going in front because of that. We go just behind it on there, and that was really good the way it tucks in there. So that should be quite a nice fitment. That is just tucked in there at the moment. You can see the wire does push against the strut there, but I don't think that's a huge issue, to be honest with you. And that will just fit in there quite nicely. I have actually discovered a new way to do it. So what I'm doing actually, instead of putting it right down there, why don't I just lean it forward? So lean forward till the wire just crosses over there and face it backwards, and then you're just not getting that problem of it pinching the cabling. So it will just be a bit better from a wear and tear perspective, and still looks really cool. So it's just right over there, and then I can just neaten that wire up when I do the rear fender too. And that is that side on. Fits really nicely, very bright from the rear. So time to the other side now, but I'm really pleased with how that's gone. I'm very pleased to say that they have been fitted and they are working very well. If we put an indicator on, for example, they are really bright and they look really, really good on my 48. I'm really happy with that. Next up, tidy up the bottom end of the bike, get the wiring sorted out. But overall, I'm so pleased with how they look. And as I say, these indicators are from Limitless Custom. I'm gonna lower the bike down now off the jack. Springs all tightened up again, but they are really cool. I'm very, very happy with my first sort of bigger modification really on my 48. Thanks for watching this video on the Doctor's Garage. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm gonna stop the video right here. I've just put the indicators on. Next step is to do a couple more modifications, which I'll do very shortly here on the channel. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.